everybody. Welcome to the Training, Learning, and Development community. What does this all mean? We've got a really special TLD cast today with Rachel Eichen, who I think it was just last week or a couple of weeks ago, we had her in a member showcase. And when I was going through like her bio and some of the stuff that she's created online, I saw and she also mentioned these great presentations that she's done in the past. And if you haven't checked out her member showcase, you should. One of the things that stands out to me was that she worked as an instructor on a cruise ship for, I don't know, how long was that, Rachel?
6.5 months.
6.5 months teaching like Excel and other computer skills, which was really an interesting listen, an interesting chat to have with you. And so that brings us here today to what does this all mean? And so for those of you that might not know what a meme is, I'll let Rachel fill you in. She tells me that I'm probably a little more meme literate than I think, just because I am kind of a regular on Reddit, but I don't feel that way, but I guess I'm gonna find out today. So you guys join me in welcoming Rachel to this broadcast, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and hide my video camera, Rachel, and let you take it away.
Sounds good. So hello everybody, welcome to What Does This All Mean? And if you're wondering why there is a picture of the Mona Lisa with holding a dog, we will get to that in just a second. And I like seeing all your comments too in the chat. I enjoyed all the meme puns that all of you put. And I saw that Alex said that there's no meme in team. And that's actually, we'll touch on that. There are meme in teams, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So you might say that I don't know what a meme is. And at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. Or you may see these pictures of cats and think, why are there all these cats here? But before I get started talking about all the different memes, I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you know about memes? So 1 would be this guy right here saying, I don't know what a meme is. And 10 would be, I'm the ultimate meme lord. And just to give you some context, if you recognize some of these cats, which I bet Lewis does, then you can give yourself a nice number in the middle. Just want to see where everybody stands on their meme knowledge. So Alex, right out of the gate, gives a 10. So, we get some tough competition here. So Lewis gave himself a 2. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to bump his score up just a little bit. I am overriding his score. I think he gets like 2 or 3 points for knowing Reddit. And I see a couple 10s. Cool, seeing a nice variety of numbers here. So even if you're a 1, which I don't think I saw anybody put a 1, or no one was brave enough to put a 1. It's okay though. We're going to start from the very beginning. You're okay. So even if you don't know what a meme is, it's all right. You're in good company. So on today's agenda, we are going to talk about what exactly is a meme. And I know some of you that put 10s know exactly what a meme is, but it never hurts to go over the history of memes and how they came to be. But more importantly, we're going to talk about why should you care? Why does it really matter? And then we're going to talk about how you can learn more. Because the problem is, one does not simply teach a meme class. I would love to tell you all about all the different memes that are existed on the internet today, but there's no way I can do that in the time. So you'll see I used memes in my presentation, and then you'll see the memes below will have a link. And the link you can click on to learn more. And just so you know, these slides are uploaded to SlideShare. I'll provide you a link at the end. But this is a way that you can explore some of these memes that maybe pique your interest. So let's talk about where the word meme came from. It actually came from a guy by the name of Richard Dawkins. He wrote a book called The Selfish Gene in the 70s. And he described memes as our ideals, cultures, and customs that replicate. And he said they're almost like a virus. They travel through imitation, sharing, and repetition. So he actually coined the term to describe a way that we've picked up habits and things in our culture that we don't even think about, but persist on throughout civilization. So I'll give you an example. Something like a knife and fork. That's something that we all pretty much do. And the reason that we do that is because we saw someone do it. We said, hey, that's a really efficient way to eat food. And we've kind of continued it on. Sometimes we learn by imitating, sometimes we learn by modifying it, that sort of thing. So that custom can be a meme. Memes can also be works of art. So remember that Mona Lisa from earlier in the presentation, from the slide? That's something that we've seen so many times and has been not only replicated, but also duplicated, also parodied. We've seen so many variations of that. You could even say painting is a meme, right? Somebody learned how to put paint on canvas and we learn from that. So essentially, you might be saying to yourself, well, isn't everything a meme? And yes, essentially everything could be a meme. And it was essentially this word to describe how our culture kind of continues on. Now, one group of people that love memes, let me back up a second. Now, what if I told you that memes existed before the internet? Because remember that Charles Dawkins, let me make sure I get your name right, Richard Dawkins wrote the book in the 70s. So he didn't actually know about the internet yet. So memes have actually existed before the internet. And one group of people that loves memes are advertisers. So I wanted to give you a couple of examples of how advertisers use memes to kind of get in our head and persist throughout time, even if we haven't heard them. So you might recognize a couple of these phrases. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's, or how about break me off a piece of that, right? And it's not just ads that use memes. They can also be PSAs. So for instance, only you can prevent, right? And not just PSAs, not just ads, but also TV shows rely on memes to keep awareness up. So live from New York, it's all right. And I see everybody typing in the comments, so I know some of you guys recognize these things. So and it's not just advertisers that use memes. We as people have used memes throughout centuries too. And one of the most popular memes are movie references. So something like, frankly, my dear, ... right? Some of you could probably finish that line. Or another one that has lived on is Luke, I am your father. And any Star Wars fan will tell you this is not actually the original line that is mentioned in the movie. But this just goes to show you that sometimes memes deviate from their source material and kind of become popular, sometimes not the correct way. Jokes are also good memes. So why did the chicken cross the road? We've heard this joke before. We've heard variations of it. We've heard different punchlines, that kind of thing. And then this one might be more for the ladies, but Miss Mary Mac. Remember there was a clapping game and all sorts of different rules, that kind of thing, right? Some of these things you haven't heard about for years, but you still remember them because they became such a part of your life and you heard them so many times too. So that is what a meme is. But now let's transition into internet memes, which is really what we talk about when we talk about memes today. And that's not to say that memes haven't gone away. They're still very much here. But internet memes have kind of taken over this meme word, and that's really what we talk about. So some of my early internet users will recognize what this is. But for those of you that don't, this is referred to as the dancing baby. This was probably the very first popular internet meme. It was a GIF of a dancing baby, and people really enjoyed it, and it got shared all around. And remember, there was no Facebook, there was no social media, so we shared it through web page building. People that were able to code web pages were able to share this, and sometimes it was emailed, but it became quite a popular meme. And I see someone said that it was creepy, and I agree. It's a little creepy, but we were really excited that we didn't even have video yet. We were just excited we could see a baby dancing. I don't understand it's kind of hard to explain the significance, but it just became really popular. And actually it also had on Ally McBeal too. It actually found its way into popular culture. So it was a very important meme. And I see Alex, the official pronunciation by the creator of GIF is that pronunciation GIF. So that is how I'm going to say it. So for those of you GIF purists, I'm sorry, it is GIF. I do go with what the creator said. So I apologize in advance. And Melissa also made a point, she said on our GeoCities pages, that's also a good point, that GeoCities was a good early meme share. So now let's talk about probably one of the most significant internet memes was the this seemingly innocent cat. And this is referred to as something called lolcats. And the image, I want you to pay attention to two things besides the fact that there's a cat in the picture. I want you to pay attention to the font. So for you font nerds, this is a font called Impact. And then I also want you to pay attention to the fact that there's poor grammar and spelling in the picture. So the reason that there's poor grammar and spelling is because it's a cat talking. And of course, if cats are talking, they wouldn't speak proper English. They wouldn't know human concepts. So of course they're going to speak improperly. And that's how this picture was born. Now, if this picture was just shared across the internet, it would probably have a small life. But this meme transformed and got copied using these same basic principles. And that's how it kind of grew into this huge sensation. So let me show you an example. Here's another example. We're not using the same picture. We're using a different picture. And it says, I has a money, what do I do with it? It's still using that same font, although now it's in lowercase, but we're still keeping those rules of poor grammar and spelling, right? We still have the same font. So that is kind of showing you how I've used that old meme as inspiration and then kind of expanded upon it. Now, the idea of animals not speaking properly, that's actually not a new concept. And that's actually been around for quite a while. So can anyone think of any examples, maybe in advertising, where animals, when they're communicating with humans, don't spell properly? Anybody? Let's see, I'll give you give a chance while I catch up on the chat. I see Elizabeth got it. So yes, Chick-fil-A is probably one of the most important ad campaigns for perpetuating this idea that animals don't spell properly when they talk to us. And so in a way, the lolcat meme used the meme itself of this animal communication. And actually, an even earlier example that I found was Far Side Comics. Gary Larson kind of perpetuated this idea that when animals were writing, they didn't spell things properly. And there may be even more earlier examples, but that was the earliest example that I found. So this lolcat trend became so popular, it really kicked off a huge subset of memes that we like to call image macros. So here's an example of an image macro that I created. And it says, not sure if teaching a class on memes or using this as an excuse to make more memes. And since it's a human, we're now going back to that proper English, proper grammar. But now we're on text on 2 lines, and usually memes follow a simple format. So this meme has a rule of not sure if or something. That's the format of the meme. So here's another example of an image macro. I don't always teach a class on memes, but when I do, I use the world's most interesting man. And also notice in this meme, we have a bottle of alcohol, Dos Equis. So remember how I told you advertisers love memes? This meme became very popular, and Dos Equis was definitely not complaining with all the free advertising that they were getting from this meme. And then I saw someone else say, take my money is also another popular one, right? Same concept. And actually, you don't even have to know where these memes came from. So a lot of people may not know that this is Fry from Futurama or that this is from a Dos Equis commercial, but it certainly doesn't help that it's in the picture every time the meme is shared, right? So another popular meme that has seen a lot of resurgence is the Doge meme. And this actually is from a while ago, but still stuck around. Once again, we're using that concept of animals. We're deviating from that font. So we no longer use Impact. This one uses Comic Sans MS, unfortunately, as much as I dislike the font. I don't make the rules, I just teach the memes. And we can see that we're using short phrases, and we're back to that poor English, kind of poor grammar type thing. And sometimes this meme is shared in this way with this text here. And sometimes it's just the picture of the dog that people find fascinating. So one way that this meme has really kind of transcended sort of popularity, if you will, is it has its own cryptocurrency. And you may have actually heard about Dogecoin in the news, but really the whole concept of the cryptocurrency was this sort of dog, is he happy? Is he scared? We don't really know what kind of emotion he has. And that fascination created the cryptocurrency. and still living on today. So in this slide, I've not only included a link to where you can learn more about Doge, but also I've included a academic link where you can learn how to speak Doge. It's actually a very well-written article. So there are a lot of rules for speaking Doge, not too hard, but just anything you've learned about English, just throw out the window and start from scratch. That's my recommendation. And then also, so memes can be humorous, but memes can also be used to sort of help us cope. So I think this was the first year that a actual year became a meme. And 2020 was also a rough year on us all. So Baby Yoda also helped ease our hearts. But here's an example of Baby Yoda and then regular Yoda moving into 2021, or old Yoda, if you will. And I know they're not exactly the same thing, but technically this is no longer Baby Yoda, but that's what the internet knows. Just like Luke, I am your father. That's what the line continues through. So let's talk about how memes spread, right? They spread through social media. That's actually one of the biggest ways that memes have spread. So we talked about earlier how that dancing baby kind of relied on websites and GeoCities and email, but now memes can spread a lot further, a lot faster. So that's why we're seeing a lot more of them in the last few years or so compared to the late 90s, early 2000s. So memes spread on Facebook. That's one of the biggest ways. It's very easy to share an image on Facebook and have it populate. We can also share on Twitter. And I'm going to show you an example. Twitter memes are slightly different than Facebook memes, but that's another popular way that memes spread. They also spread on YouTube. So this is a good way to share videos. Those spread through that way. Lewis mentioned Reddit. Reddit is a very big place that memes spread, and also where a lot of memes are created or born. So Reddit is very important. So if you know what Reddit is, like I said, I give you 2 extra points for whatever number you put down if it's below a 5. And finally, a newcomer to the scene is TikTok. And I know there's probably some of you that are like, yeah, what's this TikTok thing that I've been hearing about? And I could just do a whole class on TikTok. There's so much to say. But I want to show you an example of how a meme spreads through TikTok and how quickly it can spread too. So here's an example of a TikTok video. You might have seen it. The basic concept is a guy skating on his way to work downhill. He's holding a ocean spray bottle and he's drinking out of it while Fleetwood Mac's Dreams plays in the background. Just imagine it's playing right now. And that was the whole video. That was the whole concept. And it was maybe 30 seconds, a minute. And it really resonated with people and it grew in popularity. And it grew so big that Fleetwood Mac's song Dreams charted after 30 plus years. So guess who was really happy about that was Fleetwood Mac. And here's Mick Fleetwood making a TikTok of him drinking ocean spray juice, happy that his singles charting. And guess who else was really happy that the meme took off was Tom Hayes, the CEO of Ocean Spray. So he happily made a video drinking ocean spray as well while skating. So as you can see, like we said, advertisers love memes. Another thing you might be hearing about a lot, and once again, could do a whole class on this, just want to touch on it briefly, is something called meme stocks. And meme stocks get their name because they start usually in places where memes are spread, so places like Reddit. And there are tons and tons of meme stocks, but probably the 2 biggest ones that you're going to hear about in the news are AMC and GameStop. GME is actually the ticker, but GameStop is what it refers to. And of course, meme stocks also have memes made about them. So here's an example of an actual Twitter meme that we talked about earlier, where it says, "Me after making $5 from investing in AMC." And there's a GIF right below it. So this probably took her 2 seconds to make, but it became quite popular. And another thing I will mention about meme stocks is that they usually attract either new investors or investors without a lot of money. So that's also the humor, is that he made $5 or she made $5 and she's very excited. So that's sort of meme stocks in a nutshell. So I've been talking about memes, and one of the reasons that memes spread so quickly is because they're so easy to create and so easy to make. So a lot of the memes that I actually made in this presentation today were made with a website called imageflip.com. And let me tell you a little story. So in 2018, I live in Vegas, by the way, just a little context. I live in Vegas, and in 2018, in July, my air conditioning busted in my house. And I would not recommend, if you're going to lose your air conditioning, that you lose it in the middle of July. That's probably not the best time. Needless to say, it got really hot in the house. It actually got so hot that our thermostat stopped reading. Like, it just stops at 99. It just gave up at 100 degrees. So it was a really rough time. And my husband, to cheer me up, he made me a meme. And it took him 2 seconds to make. And the meme says, "Rachel and Tom's house, so hot right now." So for those of you that are familiar with this meme, you may find this funny. It entertained me. It made me crack up in an otherwise kind of horrible situation. So, right, that's something that we can do. We can make memes really quickly, really easily. You can make it on your phone. You don't even need a desktop. And so image flip is really good for this kind of meme format of top text, bottom text, all capital letters using that impact font. But there are other phrases and memes and other font styles and things like that. So it doesn't have to be image or this specific text on an image. So another good website is capwing.com. And this is an example of other different types of templates. So you can use, this is still impact, but here's a totally different font. Remember I showed you that Twitter meme earlier. Also remember, memes don't have to be GIFs or images or video clips. They can be phrases, things like that. So memes most likely spread through images because that's the easiest way to spread them. But keep in mind, there's all different types of meme formats, all that sort of thing. So another thing, a way to make memes is if any of you have Microsoft Teams, you may not know this, but there's actually a meme button in Teams. So actually, for those of you, there's also a GIF button. That's a fun one as well. But for those of you with Microsoft Teams, next to the GIF button, there's a Post-it note guy. And then about 3 things down, it says meme. And here you can make memes. And it's a very rudimentary design. I do prefer image flip for making memes. But if you want to make something quick to make your coworker smile, this is a good example. Now, I will say the problem with memes and Teams is that there's no actual, rules, so to speak. Microsoft doesn't care what kind of rules you use when you make the memes. So you might say to yourself, well, if I make a picture with white text, is this a meme? Not necessarily. And the problem with Microsoft Teams is some of these meme images are actual memes, but sometimes they just have stock photos. So I'll give you an example. Here's a stock photo that I actually made this in Microsoft Teams. And I said, this is not automatically a meme. So just remember, just because you put a picture with white text doesn't automatically make it a meme. And now, of course, I'm sure there's some people that say it doesn't matter, it gets the point across. So that's fine, I understand. And so here's an actual picture of me insisting that memes have to be used correctly. And honestly, some of my friends don't really care, right? They say it gets the point across. What's really the point? But a really good website that I recommend is knowyourmeme.com. You'll actually see me link this several times throughout the presentation. Pretty much every time I reference a meme, I link to knowyourmeme.com. It's a really, really good site. We're very fortunate because I actually have given this meme presentation. It was many years ago. It was actually in 2014. And I had a list of resources. And I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I can go back and reuse all these resources. And guess what? They're all gone, all of them, except Know Your Meme. So we're so thankful that Know Your Meme has stuck around all these years. And it's actually a really good website. It tracks not only how memes started, but it tracks how to use them properly and variations, things like that. It's a really good website. And I highly recommend it. So we've been having a lot of fun here making silly memes, but really, let's talk about how we can use memes for training, because that's really where the fun lies. So let me show you some examples of how we can use memes or how memes have been done in training. So one really good way to use memes is for grabbing attention. So here's an example of, remember that cat earlier, Eichen has cheeseburger. And below that, it says no use can'ts in the same font. And then it says no hot food in the library. And this is actually a university. So they could have just had a sign that said no hot food in the library, but this actually grabs your attention. You're like, what? Wait, what? And it also doesn't help. This sign is probably 6-7 feet tall. That also helps grab your attention, but it gets people to look at it that otherwise wouldn't look at it, right? So that's one way. Another way is to reinforce, and I want to stress that, reinforce information. So let me give you some context about this slide. This is actually in a casino presentation that I attended. And for those of you not in the casino industry, the term key direct marketing channels refers to how you can market to players. So as a casino, you want to let players know that they have an offer or they have a food credit or just come in, we have new games. So how do you communicate that to players? So the three biggest ways to communicate that are direct mail, which is also considered snail mail or postal mail. You've got email, and then you've got SMS text message. So a lot of people will say, well, email and text message are perfectly fine because nobody looks at snail mail anymore. But the problem is that you get so much email and so many text messages that it's kind of novel when you get something in the mail. You're like, oh, this is fun for me. Ooh. So to illustrate this point, they had a meme that said, when some marketing guru says direct mail is dead, and they have people laughing at it. Now, you don't really have to know too much about the meme. You don't have to know that this is from the movie Goodfellas. You don't even have to really seen this meme before. It's a very simple meme. These people are laughing, and it helps reinforce the point that direct mail is definitely not dead. And if you talk to anybody who's a casino marketer, they will attest to that. And sometimes they kind of wish it was dead because it can be kind of a hassle. But right, this helps reinforce that point. It also, like we mentioned earlier, grabs my attention. When I saw this, I said, oh, hey, I might pay attention a little bit more than I was before because now there's a meme. And the important thing to remember, you don't need this image. If I took this image out and I just had these bullet points, I could still convey the information. This isn't necessarily giving me too much new information. It is reinforcing the point that direct mail is important. But we always want to make sure, because sometimes memes can get lost on people, we always want to make sure that we don't give them new information. We just give them a way to remember the information that we're trying to reinforce. So another way that memes are used is to connect with younger audiences. So this is actually from a high school teacher, and she would do a PowerPoint at the start of every semester with her class rules and class materials and things you want to buy. And just to spice it up a little bit, she actually included memes in her presentation. So over here she has the factual information, and over here she has the memes, just kind of once in a way to connect with the younger audiences, get that attention, reinforce that information. And by the way, I thought this was really interesting that there's Keurig donations, juniors only, by the way. I did not have a Keurig in high schoal, but that's, I guess that's better than the soda vending machine. So I do highly recommend that you view this link and check out some more stuff. But one of the other memes that she used in her presentation that I got a kick out of was this Wonka meme, and it says, so you want more extra credit? How about doing all of the regular credit? I thought that one was pretty funny too. So that's a way that we can connect with younger audiences. And so far we've talked about how we can make memes, but we can also use memes for our learners to demonstrate new information. So let me give you an example. A math teacher was trying to teach math concepts, and he gave his kids the assignment to demonstrate math concepts of actually creating a meme to show that they learned it. So there's actually a whole video on it, but this is one of my favorite ones. Was I was graphing an exponential function. Well, that escalated quickly, right? Showing that he understands exponential functions. So that's an example of using it for memes, using it for math. And then we can also use it for terms. So here's an example of learning a new word, meddle, and then use it in a sentence. Kermit doesn't meddle in issues that are none of his business. So just this shows you that people can create memes instead of you creating memes. Maybe have the learner create memes. So just a thought, depending on your audience. And then I want to stress to you to use the format correctly. So we talked about earlier about teams, and we're just sending memes back and forth to coworkers. Not a big deal, but if you're going to use it in actual training materials, please use it correctly. So here's Drake, and he says no to guessing in a meme format and hoping for the best, but yes to researching and verifying a meme before implementing it. And remember that casino presentation that I showed you earlier? Well, the person that gave it, I was really impressed with her meme usage throughout the presentation. And I said, wow, your memes are really good. How did you get them so good? And she said, oh, thanks. My 27-year-old son proofread the memes before I posted it. And that was very smart. So my advice to any of you that did not put a 9 or a 10 is find someone younger, preferably under the age of 30, to review your memes for you if you're going to use them in any sort of presentation. They might not be able to tell you why it's wrong, but they will be able to tell you that it is wrong. And so I always consider it a success when I found someone young to review my memes before posting them. So even this presentation, I ran by someone under the age of 30 to review my memes. So I'm following my own advice. And these two memes are actually what I would call probably easier memes to use in training. So for instance, this Drake one right here, this is a good way to illustrate something wrong. This is a good way to illustrate something right. And then this meme is just good for illustrating a positive outcome of some sort. So I think these are two relatively simple memes to get. Now, you might be saying to yourself, and hold on a second, you might be saying to yourself, okay, so how do I use memes? So I want to ask you now, since we've been talking, I've been talking a lot, I'm going to show you a meme, and I want you to tell me, is this good meme usage based on everything that we've talked about? So here's a meme with Doge, and it says, hello there, I'm a dog, and I think this is a very good training. Would you say this is good meme usage or not? And if you put no, curious if you can expand on why it's not good meme usage. Give people a second while I catch up on the chat. All right, so someone said that his grammar is too good, right? He's not using the impact font, right? So this isn't a font typically associated with memes. More focused on the grammar, right? And so just kind of as a reminder, this is what the Doge meme I showed you earlier. Remember, it had that Comic Sans. He had the very short sentences. He would say things like much training. He doesn't use proper grammar. So yes, we want to be very careful when we use certain memes. Now, some may say that this meme is kind of a parody of itself, and that's probably a level 2, level 3. So you certainly could do that if you were more on the 9-10 scale. But I would say just try to stick to the correct meme usages. And Quetzal said it's too nice, right? This dog is way too nice, way too upbeat. He probably has to be a little bit more scared and maybe a little bit sarcastic, right? So as we're talking about all these memes, there's probably a couple of you that are like, all right, we're talking about sharing images, but what are the legal implications with that? And that's a very good question. So are memes fair use? Maybe, probably. It's a little bit of a gray area. So a good rule of thumb that I like to follow is either be original in your memes that you create, which I've done in this presentation, or credit the source when you take a meme from somebody else, which I've also done in this presentation. Now, once again, this is not legal advice. So I don't want anyone saying, well, Rachel said. No, Rachel did not say it. Rachel is saying, check with your legal team. If you want to use memes in training and you're not sure if it's okay, I cannot speak for your organization. Please, please, please check with your legal team. And if you want some more information, this is a good article to start, copyright for meme makers, but there are so many articles because it is kind of this interesting discussion of are memes legal, is using them legal, that sort of thing. But like I said, always check before you make assumptions. So some additional resources for learning memes. One is Wikipedia, and it really breaks my librarian heart to say this, but yes, really. And the reason is because Wikipedia is able to keep up with the rapidly changing landscape of memes. And the problem is if I published a book on memes, it would already be outdated. And in Wikipedia's defense, it is very heavily moderated and very heavily scrutinized. So if somebody posts something incorrect, it's taken down almost immediately. But yes, Wikipedia for memes is a very, very good source. Another one is 5 ways to use meme with students. Right, even as educators, even as trainers, we can borrow some of these ideas. So I did use a couple of these in my presentation, but there's also some good ideas there. If you want to have a TED Talk, there's a TED Talk about memes and what they call teams. And TEMES actually is what this person refers to as internet memes or technological memes. So if you're curious kind of the more history of how the word meme came to be and what it came to represent, there's a little TED Talk for you. Another good PBS article was The Brief History of Memes. This also kind of talks about those early memes and how we've arrived at the internet today. And then this one I'm a little hesitant to recommend, but I think it's still a good resource, is urbandictionary.com. This is really good for slang words that you might hear, but the caveat is some of these words may not be safe for work, and that's why there's slang for them. So just be careful when you look up a word that you're not sure what it is, but it still can be a good resource. As of right now, that's my my little disclaimer, though. So I wanted to close with some meme best practices to kind of talk about what we mentioned here. So first, never underestimate memes, right? We talked about the power. We talked about how advertisers love memes, how they can really grab attention. So don't just write them off. Hopefully this presentation has inspired you to start thinking of ways that they can be used. Always think about who is going to be your audience. So I actually saw somebody in the chat mention how memes can sort of alienate an older audience, and that's true. So we want to think about who's going to be viewing our training, but we also want to make sure that that meme reinforces the training, but doesn't necessarily convey totally new information that if somebody didn't understand the meme wouldn't get. You always want to give yourself time to research. So knowyourmeme.com, a really good resource. Try to find how memes are being used. Try to see how other people are using them. And you want to make sure that you understand usage. So we talked about showing it to a young person before, just to make sure that if it makes sense to them, it makes sense. And finally, look up unfamiliar terms, right? So we talked about Urban Dictionary is a good website for slang. Just be careful with that one. But yes, definitely look up unfamiliar terms before we use them. And so for my final trick, you all just got Rickrolled, which is where I have hidden the lyrics of Rick Astley's 1980s hit, Never Gonna Give You Up, into the text. Typically, this meme is distributed as a video, but here I've done it as text. So it just gives you another example. Remember how I said memes don't have to be images. They can also be catchphrases, or in this case, pranks. So hopefully some of you got a kick out of that, some of you 9 and 10ers. So anyway, that is the end of my presentation. So like I said, the slideshow is uploaded to SlideShare. And you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to continue the meme conversation. And I'm at Adverb at both of these things. And hopefully this presentation has inspired you to learn all the memes. So thank you very much. And now we'll open it up to questions that I might have missed while I was presenting.
All right. Well, Rachel, thanks for that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I have a couple questions, like just off the top of my head. What if you post a meme that is just really bad, like somewhere? I mean, do people actually come after you, or is there a punishment for bad meme creation and distribution?
So it depends on the context. So we were talking earlier about how, like when we share memes with coworkers, maybe they might not be the right meme. Your coworkers aren't going to come after you, and they might tell you. So if you share it with me, I might be like, well, actually, that's not how you use the meme. And some of my coworkers actually found that one out the hard way. But it depends on who you share it with. So if you put it in a training, depending on who sees it, it might lose the audience, or it might they might kind of question the authenticity if the meme is not correct. So right. I wouldn't say there's meme police per se. And it also depends on how many people see it. I'm trying to think, now that you mentioned it, I'm trying to think if there's any examples of memes, bad memes actually becoming memes themselves. Right. I know there are fake memes where people kind of fake people making bad memes like I just did. But if anyone in the chat knows, I don't think that we've reached that meme level yet, but I wouldn't put it past the internet. So just give people time. Give people time.
Nice.
So
now, what is using like a more popular meme image? Is that will that make that meme more effective?
Well, it depends. So that's the other problem with memes, is that they have a lifespan. So, if I put dancing baby at the beginning and didn't, you'd been like, or if I put dancing hamster as a meme, you probably would have said, well, the 1990s called, or not, that's not really happening. So you do want to be careful when you use memes. Some of these memes kind of have persisted over time, though. Like Doge is from the 2014, and here we are 6 years later still talking about it, and it's still in the news. So some memes do have staying power. All the memes I use here, a lot of them are older memes that have kind of lasted over time. The other risk that you run with using a current meme is that sometimes people haven't had a chance to understand the meme usage yet. So if they see it, they might not get the meme. And I've actually had that happen to me because even I too see memes and say, what? Like I haven't caught up to why that meme's funny yet. So the joke is lost on me. So it is a delicate balancing act. But I would say a safe thing is once you see a meme quite a lot, it's probably safe to use it and safe to feel like it's okay to use it.
Nice. All right, cool. Thank you. All right. Any questions out there?
All right. Let me see. I was trying to check the chat. It was going by a little, so I did see a question from Kim that says, what about when they take a bunch of TikToks and put them together, then add words? So, and TikToks once again are like a whole meme thing. That's a kind of thing of itself. But I think TikTok is really interesting because we have this video sharing platform that can now create these memes so effortlessly. And just like you saw those images spread so quickly, now we can take videos and effortlessly kind of copy them. We can also use the music exactly and things like that. So TikTok is a whole different set of rules, but it's worth knowing about because of how memes spread. I know Lewis, you and I were having this conversation. I personally do not have a TikTok account, but that is by choice. I still am familiar with TikTok, but I know it's also a deep, dark rabbit hole, as those of you that are on TikTok can attest. So I watch TikToks and I'm familiar with them, but I purposely avoid the app because I know, it can be lots of scrolling, lots of things like that. So I follow it, but from a distance, so I don't get trapped because that's the problem. Right. TikTok will just suck you in. So yeah. And I think it's worth mentioning too. Instagram Reels follows a lot of the same concepts. It doesn't get the glory that TikTok does, but Instagram definitely sees the power of a lot of those things. And then YouTube now is actually starting to do these things that they call shorts. And they're kind of having a TikTok thing where it's in that infinite scrolling loop of curated short videos. So
I wonder if when I look at those short videos, sometimes I wonder if those are just like little micro learning pieces.
It's funny. There was actually a talk about that. And there's definitely a use for that. The problem with TikToks, and hopefully the guy that did that talk won't be here. The problem with TikToks is that they're great for like up-to-date information, but they get a little, and he actually said, what he said was that there's TikToks that, the more of the lesser known things, or not the lesser known things, there was no like rhyme or reason to what TikToks were popular. Sometimes they were information you think everybody would know. But at least the way the TikTok page is organized, kind of like Instagram, it's hard if you want to go back in an archive. And the librarian in me, it's hard to archive that information because stuff like social media is made for immediate posting and then the next new thing and the next new thing. There's no real way to like easily catalog it without some sort of resource outside of it. So like for instance, the guy that made TikTok videos, if I want to see all the videos that he's made about Microsoft Word, it's a lot harder to see all those because they're just posted chronologically. And same thing with Instagram. Facebook has very limited features, but yeah, I want to archive, I want to catalog, I want to find stuff. And that's the librarian in me, but that's one of the downsides to using those kind of platforms. That's just my opinion, right? It's, I know other people, it's great for them. So
got it.
And then I saw Kim mentioned Vine. So for those of you not familiar, Vine is actually the precursor to TikTok. I don't know why it didn't stick around. I thought it was really great, but that was limited to 6-second videos. So that too is also a rabbit hole. But I thought it was really clever because when you're forcing people to make a 6-second video, there's only so much you can say. So it really kind of becomes economical with your video creation. So people did some really cool stuff with Vine. It's kind of now if you want to see Vines, you have to go on YouTube and look at Vine compilations. But I thought it was a really interesting platform. So
Rachel, what do you think about the evolution of memes? What direction are they going to take next? Anything that you've seen that we should prepare for?
I saw, you can never really prepare for memes. I mean, but to be fair, I did see one person in the chat say that memes tend to be more mocking people, and I'm paraphrasing what they said, but mocking or discriminatory. And I would say memes are kind of stepping away from that because as they become more popular, they seem to be less about making fun of people and more about if they do make fun of people, it's a more gentle way and less of a. Now they're still mocking memes. Those will always live on, but a lot of the early memes have kind of really bad origins. Usually they're making fun of people, and so I think we're going away from that, which I'm all a fan of. I think TikTok is definitely going to be important because it shows how easy people can create videos. I mean, I would have thought the animated GIF would have disappeared by now, but look, it's still around, right? And it's such an inefficient file format, but yet it has stuck around all this time. And CompuServe isn't even around anymore, and they were the one that created the GIF, but we still use GIFs, and they're still very popular. So it's hard to predict, but I feel like memes are not going away because I did this present in 2014. I think I did this also in 2012. So I think they're still here. And I think they're going to keep coming. I think the image memes, maybe we'll see more video memes. I think there's probably also things that I haven't even thought of yet that will blow my mind when I do this presentation again. So,
right. All right. So there is like a group that's left in, and I'm just wondering, have all of you made memes, or who hasn't, or who has? Because I know I actually have made some, but they're not something I would ever share like to a larger group. But I wanted to see if anybody else is. And
I will say, I actually used a meme today with one of my coworkers because I was, I know she knows memes, and I was trying to relate to her. So I've also made memes just for like no public consumption, but for people to just look at and get a kick out of.
Nice. It looks like Melissa has Quetzal. I've definitely seen you make some. I see your A's posting all the time on Twitter. So yeah. There you go, Christiana. Mostly to torture.
No, Christiana's being too hard on herself. She knows memes. She's being bashful, but no, I am very easy to troll. That's another meme term. Because when I see memes being used incorrectly, I can't not say something. I have to defend their honor. It's in me,
It's that librarian in you.
Or the tech writer in me. That might be the tech writer, because tech writers also like rules. So, it could be one or the other.
There you go, Kim. There you go. All right. Well, I think that we'll go ahead and wrap it up, Rachel. Rachel, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. A great sort of break for the week for me, just to have some content with some levity, maybe. I still have questions. I have so many questions about memes because there's some things that I don't understand at all. Like some memes that come through that I'm like, what is that? Like, at least you answer the Doge one, but there are other things that I'll probably have to send you on the side to get my questions answered.
I will also add, there's so many things I want to talk about, but I narrowed it down. So I could have easily made a meme 102 class. Like, now that we've learned these basic concepts, there's more advanced meme concepts. It gets very complex. So, even I get over my head sometimes. So it's
nice. All right. Well, maybe we'll start a Slack channel where it can only be, the only posts allowed are going to be memes. So we'll have to see. Maybe we'll move in that direction just to get some practice in. There you go, Kim. We'll shop at the next conference. Sounds good to me.
I'm all for it. I already told Lewis I'm down. I can talk about memes. The only problem is that the slideshow is already outdated. So I'm gonna, it's a constant battle trying to keep up, trying to make it current. So
yeah, nice. I'll post the recording, and I'll post the some of the links and stuff in Slack. So yeah, that's it, you guys. Rachel, thanks again. Really appreciate you guys coming in this afternoon. And let's see, Friday we have Christine, I think you say Duguay, is in a member showcase, and really, really interesting. She's from Thought Exchange. I think that'll be a really fun conversation Friday morning at 8. And so hopefully we'll see you there. And that's it. Thanks, everybody. Bye, everyone.
bye.